We have written our program very nicely, taking everything into consideration, all the edge cases as given in the program specification, and of course in the sample output like this. But you see, when we run the program 50E, for example, it gives this error. This is a type of error that we call exception. This is an exception of the type value error. Yes, it tells that in line 25, we have this issue. This function, it could not convert. So let us fix this. Try, and we have this there, and we have except. We can write, since we know the kind of exception as value error, we print the error here. We say error occurred, and we can have the error printed. We can print the error there. And everything else that works, we copy it, cut it, and put it under. Now, if everything works, then all of this will be executed. That is, if we have a valid number. If the value that's given is not correct, then we'll have this one printed. Let's run this program, okay? So if I have 1E, error occurred, could not convert string to float. You see it? This line is printed, this one. So this is kind of like an if else, but now capturing the error. So error occurred, and I can make it so that we know, let's put the error like that. So now we know this is our own line of code that we have written to capture the error. If I run again and I put 1E, error occurred. Anything that you put, which is not a number, it will give you error occurred. Could not convert string to float. So it's telling you cannot convert this value to float. And if we give it something that is nice, then the error will not be printed. We'll go straight into the execution of our code. Remember, this is 55 hours. It is less than or equal to 40. That is why we get this. But if it is greater than 40, that is when we have this line or this block of code. So 41, we go into the 41.5 or 40 point, even 40.1. It's greater than 40. So you get this. You had a bonus of 10. It is 0.1 times 100. So you get it. That is how you manage or handle the exception. One tip that I can give you is that sometimes, because this value error is a kind of exception, it is part of a very big class, a very big hierarchy that we call exception. It is beyond the scope of this video, but if you want to know, it inherits from the class exception. So if you don't know the exception, you don't know the name of the exception, it is safe to just put exception, and you always capture the exception. So now if I put anything here, you'll still capture it. But if you put a wrong kind of exception and that exception is not thrown, then you will not reach here. You will also have an error. So I'll advise you to use generic exception than the specific exception. But if you know exactly the kind of exception that is thrown, it's best practice to use it so that you can handle it, because some programs can have more than one exception thrown. In my course in Python, Introduction to Programming with Python, there is a module on handling exception, and I have everything there, details, and I hope that you have enjoyed this tutorial series.